Well, if I may, as a bishop of 200 some churches, my first approach was to request pastors in particular to get the vaccine, but discovered there was great resistance to that among some people. And given my role and my authority, I thought perhaps if I said to people, if you don't get the vaccine, then this is going to happen or that's going to happen. I learned quickly that doesn't work. And so, as Dr. West indicated, hearing people out, even though I didn't understand or agree with what their perspectives were, but I always saw a relationship between their faith and the issues around the vaccine. It wasn't just the facts that people were the lack of facts. It was the fact that people's faith, as Dr. West indicated, people had to struggle with what they understood their faith response ought to be towards the vaccine, towards the virus. And in many of our communities, there is the idea that somehow if I've got faith, I can get rid of this. I can overcome this. And so faith was being misapplied or misused to address a pandemic and a virus that doesn't respond to faith. And so we had to help people bridge the gap between their belief system and what the realities were. And that sometimes is a major jump. I've had persons to use scripture. For instance, someone gave me Psalm 98 and said, "This is my vaccine. I just read Psalm 98 and it'll take care of me." You try to resist that kind of thought, but the fact is that's how a lot of folk operate. And so you have to give people time to get around that. But I also learned that the intersection between faith and the facts around this vaccine is layered with deeper issues. And so you have to help people deal with the emotional as well as the faith, religious matters, but also the peer pressure is another dynamic that people would ask, well, Reverend so-and-so is not taking this. Or I've had situations where a pastor's wife would say, I don't want my husband taking this. So I had to deal with that with several couples where the wife or the spouse was saying no. And when you ask them why, they weren't able, in many instances, to say exactly why. They just felt uncomfortable with it. And so you have to wait on people to talk to them through that. But I think one of the things we've done effectively is most of our pastors have at least attended workshops and training that has helped them understand the facts and begin to relate their faith to the facts of the virus and the vaccine. And of course, with the pandemic, most of our churches not meeting in person, that has been a challenge, helping people to bridge the gap between communicating via text, emails, and being in person with persons. So that is definitely hampered us somewhat in that regard.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. That's very helpful.
To add, I was going to say, to add to Bishop Brown's statement, one of the things that I've tried to communicate to parishioners and to the public is that this is a communal matter more than it is just individual. And so we have to see it from a much broader perspective. We're all in this together. And I can't remember who said this, but I used this quote in defense, that spirituality is unseen science and science is seen spirituality. And so when people try to misuse, misapply faith to this matter, many times we have to have something to say to them in response. But at the end of the day, I think if you engage people in conversation, if you're bold enough to confront the issues, I believe God will help us to get to where we need to be.